Welcome back to RuralVacantLand.com. This is Luke Smith. I've got another property for you. This one is in Wyoming. It's off a recent mailer. Sent out some offers. Just got this one back. And I just made a map for it. So I'm really excited to show you this map with the easements out to the street and things. It's got water. It's got power. It's got a road. It's green. I just got off the phone with the county planning and zoning. I've talked to the Fremont County. This is Fremont County, Wyoming. I've talked to Fremont County, Wyoming's planning and zoning people in the past. They're really nice, small town, friendly, super friendly, easy people. And their fees are like, how do you pay for gas to make that happen? It's the way it should be. So let's jump into it, and I'll try to give you some details on this property. I got a horse in the background. This isn't the actual property, but this looks like horse country. So let's take a look at this one. I'm asking $28,000. I'll jump into the market in a little bit on it. It's 4.64 acres, so it's just shy of 5 acres, 5 missing a corner. And let's look at this map first, and then we'll look at some pictures. So I just created this green part. This green part's the easement. And so most people, I think, look at this property and they scratch their head. How do you get there? Because it's back. It's back. There's roads that go this way, and this way. They all have street view. We should jump into street view and take a look at this thing. And then there's an easement that comes out the middle. And it took me a while to map this easement. I really had to do some detective work on the legal description of this easement. So I'm like 99% sure this is where the easement is, but there's a slight chance I might be off. So don't just take my word for it. You might want a surveyor to mark it for reals. But the property boundary between these two properties, there's a 30-foot easement. It's 15 foot on either side of that property boundary. It's not the way it's worded, but that's my understanding of it. And so if we take this and we do a street view, so let's do street view from the south where the easement would be. You can see there's a power line here. The power line goes to the neighboring house. This nice green grass. This looks like a good area for horses, cattle, and then there's other livestock in the area. I'll show you in a minute. But this power line here has got a transformer on it. You could probably extend that off to the actual property. The actual property is going to be back down this line. So I believe this fence line is where the easement is. You got 15 foot on either side of this fence line, on this side and this side. And it kind of looks like they've got some drainage going on this side. So, I mean, not being there in person, but just theoretically, I'd probably use their cattle grate, talk to them and everything, and extend that up the boundary of this property. Maybe put some gates in, or another cattle grate where the other fence is, to get back to the back of these guys' properties, which is your property. And further back there, there's where these trees are, there's a water ditch, and the guy from the county is telling me it's tail of water, and it's probably coming from the farms just north of here that are irrigating the fields quite heavily, and then the runoff goes into this ditch and goes its merry way. So it looks like you've got a paved road access to this. There's neighboring houses. There's power lines in the area. You're back off the road. You just got to build a driveway back in there on your easement. The neighbors don't have any legal way to stop you. This is your easement to go back there. You're probably going to want to be nice to them and talk to them and everything, not just show up with a bulldozer during their breakfast and go for it, but tell them your plans and then go back in there. I could probably get contact information of the neighbors here to help you. And then across the street, I mean, this is the area. Here's people with horses. These guys across the street have horses, and more horses in the back, and more horses around the area. So it seems to be a horse-friendly area. And the county says you can do mobile homes, you can do houses. The only thing that they're requiring, that they're looking for, is a septic. This is the county. So I just got off the phone with the county. And so they want you to have a septic, and they charge about $300 for the fees to look at your septic plan, program, pit, test the ground and all that stuff, and make sure that you've got a proper place and plan to put your septic in. And then the guy at the county said septics in the area are running people right now from $4,000 to $7,000, depending on a couple variables, like 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom house. But that was a 3-bedroom house, is running kind of $4,000 to $7,000 for a septic in this area, just a basic septic system. He says the water table in the area is pretty shallow, so it's pretty easy to get water in this area. You need a permit from the state, so that's not the county. You need a permit from the state, and the state charges $25 for a water well permit. He says it's really easy to do the paperwork and do the well. You still have to pay somebody to drill the well or do it yourself. And that's it. That's it. They don't come check your electricity hookups. They don't check your plumbing. They don't check your foundation. They don't check your roof. They don't check your structure. They don't check all that stuff. It's Wyoming. It's up to you. You know, they just trust you to do it. Just go do it. Go make it happen. This is your land. You're the one making the decision. You're the one that's going to be living there. It's not like California where I'm at that gives you all kinds of rules and babysits you all along the way. Timelines and everything. This is wide open regulations, really simple, to go have your own place. So if you want to get away from California style regulations or wherever you're coming from, Wyoming is a great place to do it. And this is a cheap property in a green area where you can raise animals and have fun. So let's look at this one some more. I'm going to back out of this street view because we've got a couple other street views we can look at. We can go up these side streets and look over too. So if we go over here, here's the drainage ditch that's coming off the field. So the fields are growing, or the neighbors are growing hay on their land, and it's the same land just across the street. They just water theirs, and this one isn't being watered, right? So here's the drainage ditch, or the county call it tailwater. So here's the tailwater ditch. And they said, make sure you don't encroach on that ditch too much. They didn't set a solid rule, like so many feet back or whatever that most places in the country would tell you to do. They said, just make sure there's room so when the farmers come through and clean out the ditch every, 5-10 years or however often they clean out the ditch, that, their tractors and their equipment and stuff can still get in there to clean out the ditch, which makes sense. So you probably don't want to build a deck right on the hill or something there. So this area here, there's someone else's land here, but then yours is back here. So all this green stuff back here would be your land, almost 5 acres of it. And then here's a paved road. This is Miller Lane. Neighbors are putting trees around their houses. I mean, you can totally plant trees in the area. Looks like some nice big ones. Looks like the farmers here haven't cleaned out their ditch in a while. And the state or the county was telling me it's state statute that they have to keep their ditches cleaned out. So you do not impede their route to do that. Okay, so we were just over here looking at the property from the east. Let's go over here and look at the property from the west. So if we look at it from the west, there's some neighboring houses here. Let's see where we end up. Now I'm kind of lost. Let's try that again. Where'd those houses go? So here's the ditch. Here's the houses. Sorry, I don't know where I'm at. Where I am. So here's the fields, and okay. So it's the side with the trees on it. Let's try this again. Okay. So there's the hay fields on that side. Here's the houses. The houses are just hiding in the trees. So here's the ditch. Our property is going to be a ways over here. There's not much to see. There's too many trees in the way. So it's going to be behind these trees. But this would be your neighbor's field on the other side of the ditch. They're growing hay. You could probably plant hay too if you prep your land. You could probably grow all kinds of things. Looks like you just hook up the water and water this stuff. It gets nice and sunny. I mean, look at these skies. This is street view. This isn't like some setup or something. It's just totally clear blue skies. It's Wyoming. Wyoming has crazy blue skies for a large amount of the year. It's very dry climate, blue sky, dry, but this has water in the area, so you could pump water and irrigate. Okay, so there's the property. There's the ditch in the back. There is there's an easement for a pipeline from the 60s. And I'm wondering if the pipeline, I believe it runs along, might be this route here is the pipeline. But I haven't totally 100% located where that pipeline is. I think that pipeline is coming through here in the back. And then there's power line easements to get back there from like the 90s, which is probably this house's power line coming in. So I think you could take the power line from here and extend it up. Just talk to the power company about that. Okay, so there's the basics on the layout. I didn't show you where this is. I showed the small picture, but not the big picture. So if we zoom out and if we drive down these paved streets, we can go to Riverton. Which I've been to Riverton. Riverton's a cute town. It's a classic Wyoming farming town. I smile because I like small towns like that. I grew up in a small town, you know. So here's Riverton. It's the intersection of the 26 and the 789. I mean, here we go. So we've got Yellowstone up here, Grand Teton here, and not very much further away is Riverton. I've driven through here. I mean, it's a beautiful area. Some places are sagebrush, scrubland, brown, boring, and other places are green in the river valleys. This is in the river valley. This is where it's green. This is a totally different atmosphere than the brown sagebrush stuff that happens in lots of this area. But either one of those, you're usually looking up at beautiful mountains, lots of times snow-capped mountains. And so in this area, it's south, this mountain range, let's go to satellite. This mountain range gets snow-capped, and this is mostly national park, state park. I mean, it's a lot of government land. There's some ranch land mixed in there too, but just wilderness. So you can go explore, hunt, have fun on, ride your horses, whatever you want. I mean, there's a lot of government land around. So that's close, and that's nothing like Yellowstone with the crowds of people that you're going to see there. But it's close to you, and a couple locals might maybe show up there. That's about it. But if you want to go a little bit further up the hill, you can get into Yellowstone. So the property's here, and the place is up here. Lander's just to the south. I didn't realize how close we are to Lander. My wife really likes Lander. Out of all the little Wyoming towns that I've been to, her favorite was Lander. One of her, one of the what do you call it? The guy that fixes his shoes for horses, was from Lander. She always heard stories about Lander. But the neat thing about Lander is, like right here in the middle of town, it's got this park, big beautiful trees, super green grass, and kids playing in the park. And comparing my kids to the kids in Wyoming, the kids in Wyoming are climbing crazy trees, like upside down, hanging, having fun. And the California kids are like, oh, be careful, you know, watch out, you might hurt yourself. The Wyoming kids are going for it. There's rock climbing right out of the gate, like a lot more. They grew up with a lot more freedom and a lot more trust. Their parents have given them a lot more trust to go get hurt, have fun, learn how to do their own thing, how to make their own decisions. And I think that's a powerful thing that kids should be learning that they're missing here in California. But that Lander has that huge. And so this town has, here we go, right in the middle of town, Lander Children's Museum. You know, it looks like a great place to raise kids. And we looked at it really close. I really like Lander. You can get groceries, you can get supplies, you can get culture. There's a small university there. Here we go. Where is the university? There's a public library. I don't know where the university is on the map, but there's a smaller university there. And so it's got that kind of life happening in town that a lot of towns don't have, that miss that younger generation. So not very far away from Lander is this property. Up the road is the property. A little further up the road is Riverton. So you get supplies from either. My wife and I would probably prefer Lander, but having both of them on either side would be cool to choose from. Okay, so that's the area. And then I want to talk about price. So I was asking $28,000. I'll show you the competition here in a sec. I've got buy now set up on the site. Maybe it's not set up. I'll get it set up. There's a button, but it's not working. So you can hit that and put $500 down to take the property off the market if you love it and you're going for it. And then we'll go run it through title and we'll do the paperwork. And through a title company, get it transferred over to you. You can send all the money to title, and when all the paperwork's settled, they'll send me the money and send you the paperwork. It's your property. So I've got GPS on here. If you click on that, you can get driving directions. It'll take you straight to the property if you're clicking on it in your phone. If you're clicking on it in your computer, it'll pull up Google Maps and you can play with it and you can look at it and zoom in, zoom out, 3D, everything else. It's a pretty flat property, so I'm not showing you the 3D of it. Taxes, $154 a year in taxes. That's what they've been. There's a Walmart that's 7 miles away from the property, so you got supplies. 6 miles to local school, community school. There's a health center place that's 1.7 miles, you know, if you hurt yourself. There's There's a restaurant 6 miles away. You start getting coffee, a coffee shop. Here's the 6 miles to the post office. 5 miles to whatever gas station, 6.5 miles away. So you don't have to like carry jerry cans in your car to get to and from the gas station. Like some of the properties I present, they're so far out in the middle of nowhere. This one's close to people. It's close to supplies. It's green. There's water, and it's ready to go. So I'm asking 28 grand. If we look at the market, I got Zillow pulled up. This is Fremont County, Wyoming. I got everything that's sold on here. Let's look at what's for sale. So Fremont County for sale, and this is almost 5 acres that we're talking about. So if we keep that in mind and we sort by, let's just do land. I thought I had this set ahead of time, but you know, the new stuff that's coming up, you know, $2 million. Let's look for the cheapest ones in the county. I'm usually trying to beat those guys. So cheapest in the county, 1 acre for 10 grand. I got 5 acres. So let's get up to close to 5 acres or just shy of 5 acres. These are 1 acre lots. Let's see how much we got to pay to get some size here. We're up to 20 grand, and here's 20 grand for here's a new one. 20 grand. Where's this at? 20 grand for almost 5 acres. This is sagebrush country. So if you like the sagebrush kind of stuff, I mean, have at it. Some people like that. I don't think that's competition. What's going on here? 20 grand. This is tiny. Here's 24,000 for 4 acres. This thing's been on the market forever. This is sagebrush country. Let's see if we find some bigger ones. They're like actually green. Here's 20 acres. 20 acres for 25 grand. There's no information on it. There's some bigger acreage in this county out in sagebrush country that you can get for pretty cheap. There's no character to the land. Good luck putting in a water well. And it's different. So these are small lots. Here's 25,000 for 12 acres. Let's see what that is. Some weird shaped ones. So this is Riverton, 25 grand for 12 acres, and I'm asking 28 grand for 4 acres. So this one's like 3 times the size and a couple $1,000s cheaper. But I mean, there's no information about it. It's some weird shaped stuff. It's like the leftover drainage ditch land. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Go look at it and compare it to my property if you're out there touring them. But that's a weird one. Let's look. Here's 8 days on Zillow, 3.6 acres. This one might make sense. This is kind of sagebrush country. This is up on the hill overlooking the valleys. So if you drive through Riverton, if you drive through the area, you'll see that all the development, not all, but 99% of the development is happening in the green valleys, not up on the brown hills. And dogs knocking stuff over. And I think if you go visit, you'll see why. It's just a lot harder to pull off. So we're at 30 grand. Here's some competition. 29,900. It's been on the market for 7 days. This is north of town, 35 acres. So this is like 6 times the size of property that I've got. I think this is sagebrush country too. Yeah, this is not the kind of land you can easily plant stuff. Here's 5 acres for 29.9. This might be greener property. This looks like it might be more competitive. Trying trying to figure out which property this is. I've looked at all these properties at different times, but this one's kind of newer on the market. Looks like it's got views of the mountains, and doesn't look like total sagebrush, but doesn't look like total valley either. Somewhere in between. If you look at this, this tells me that it's floodplain stuff, like your water runs right through the property. I think you might have a problem with water on this one. And then here's some brown lots, 30 grand, smaller. These are all smaller. And here's some actual trees, 31 grand for 3 acres. I'd go look at that. I think this is high up in the mountains. But that looks like a fun one. So 31 grand. So I think the prices are a good deal higher. By the time you go find irrigatable land, like land that you can plant stuff on, you're going to see that the prices are significantly higher than what I'm asking for the same size acreage. So go look at everything else that's out there, compare and contrast. I think mine's the cheapest. Let me know if you find something better. Maybe I'll beat them. But I pulled it up on Realtor.com. It's the same story. So land, Fremont County, Wyoming, the cheapest stuff. These are like actual realtors, not some of the for sale. Well, this is in the Riverton area. So just zooming in on the Riverton area. I mean, it's 30 grand for these little tiny lots north of town. I'm asking 28 grand, and you're getting almost 5 acres, and you can plant on it. The prices just kick up from there. Here's 3.78 acres. This looks like land you could plant on. It's a little bit smaller than mine. They're asking 39,000. I'm asking 28. Here's one 4 acres, 39,000. So this looks like, yeah, the neighbors are actually planting stuff, or the actual property's got something planted on it. So I think that's going to be the best competition. It's showing up on Realtor.com, not Zillow. So these ones here, 39,000 bucks. Mine at 28. I think it's a good deal cheaper. I think you should look at all these and make your own decision on which ones are the best. Mine's down here. These are up here. Mine's closer to Lander. Mine's lower price. Take a look. Let me know. This is Luke Smith, RuralVacantLand.com, bringing another property. This one's in Fremont County, Wyoming. Close to 5 acres, almost 5 acres, and saying thank you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And I keep bringing you more properties. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you keep seeing more listings like this of new properties as they keep coming up. Thanks. See you in the next one. Bye.